Dead in Hip Hop album review. Pop Smoke. Shoot for the stars, aim for the moon. Pop Smoke was born Bashir Baraka Jackson, July 20th, 1999. Makes me feel old as hell. But first and foremost, rest in peace. As you may know or you may not know, Pop Smoke was killed during a LA home invasion several months back. Very unfortunate situation as he was just getting his career started. I think, oftentimes people get even more popular after they pass, but I think that he was one of these new up-and-coming artists that was just super popular, even prior to. But obviously the unfortunate thing happened, and we're left with this album. Pop Smoke's style...
It's executive produced by 50, too.
Executive produced by 50.
Oh. Mm-hmm. I didn't know that.
It makes a lot of things come together, because my first time listening through this project, and I haven't listened to the other mixtapes, so this was literally my first introduction to an entire Pop Smoke catalog, because obviously his big singles hit Billboard 100, it was all over the radio. Everybody pretty much heard that. I heard all of his singles, but I never sat down and listened to a mixtape. But when I first heard this, I was like, man, he don't necessarily sound like 50, because he has an extremely unique voice to himself. But the music felt like if you just took Pop Smoke out and put Prime 50 in there, this would have been like 50's album back in the 2000s. I like the samples and stuff that they used on here, and I think Pop Smoke did a really good job as well. Now there are, this is 19 songs, about an hour long. There are songs I felt like it was a bit too long. I'm starting to get into that album mode of like 15, 16 max. And that's pushing it. Like I like the 10 to 13, you know what I'm saying, in terms of tracks. This just felt a little bit too long. But the joints that was on here that I really fuck with was like 44 Bulldog. That's hard. I love how Pop Smoke sounds, man. Like I think he has one of those super unique voices where it's scruffy but smooth at the same time. And I think he does a really good job with like his tonality on the songs. You know what I'm saying? I really like his voice and the beats that he picked, him and 50. I don't know how involved 50 was in terms of being an executive producer on this.
I think very.
It sounds like it.
It feels like it.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how much Pop Smoke finished before he died. It almost sounds like these were like a bunch of unfinished verses. Mm-hmm. And 50 just kind of took them and put them on beats, because some of the beats, they don't sound like it's what he was listening to when he was rapping these verses. Mm-hmm. I don't know for a fact, of course, but that's just how it felt. So
I didn't even know he was from Brooklyn. And like seeing Quavo and like like Atlanta folks
Future.
Here, I'm thinking he was like maybe somewhere from the South. So I'm like, damn, he from Brooklyn, New York. I was like, wow, like I didn't.
But that just shows how much influence the South has had.
I picked up a drill sound too from this on some of these joints.
Yep.
He kind of got influence from that.
But New York has that now, though.
They do.
Been keeping up with that, but I mean, it's not my thing, of course. But New York has like a drill scene now.
Okay.
Okay. And he's a big part of that.
Gotcha.
Overall, man, I think it was a solid project. There's some joints on here that could be taken off, like wasn't feeling that. There's a lot of stuff on here that sounds very commercial, like I'm reaching for the radio, and I don't always typically like that. Now sometimes it's dope, but on this it was just a little too sing-songy-ish, not just like because he like his voice is so hard, like I want, and obviously you can't get it, but like I would have liked to have like a 13 track, just super hardcore beats, even trappy beats.
I've been waiting, bro. Listen to his first mixtape.
Oh, okay.
Man,
so it's like that?
Yes.
Okay. So I stand corrected. I just
No,
gotta
you're
go
not
back.
wrong.
Yeah,
you're not wrong. I'm just
back.
saying, go back and listen to his first mixtape. I feel like you'll be like, oh, okay, now I get it.
Really?
Hell yeah.
I particularly didn't care for this project as a whole, because I feel like the sound, the production, the sound that he was going for on this was like really too like fluffy and accessible for me. With the exceptions of the songs that you mentioned. I do like 44 Bulldog, and I like Gangsters too. I wish Gangsters actually was a longer track.
Yeah, I like Gangsters.
Snitching was funny. I thought Snitching was cool.
funny. I like that intro on that.
Make It Rain. I love that beat. I didn't understand that Roddy dude. He had his voice on. It's like he had his verse over the phone or some shit like that.
He's in jail.
Oh, okay. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah, because they did a little call in before. I thought that was kind of cool.
I thought that was actually kind of
dope. But
dope.
that beat was fucking fresh as hell. But after that, that's when this album took a way bad turn for me. Like as far as just the sound of it.
And I agree with you. It almost felt like the majority of the best shit was like in the top half of this. And then
it's definitely a top heavy album.
Yeah.
Definitely top heavy album. Because I really didn't care for anything after track 9. Like
I Got It On Me. I like Got It On Me.
Yeah, me too.
The Mini Man remix type of
Yeah,
deal.
that shit was dope.
Yeah, that was
Like,
hella
I really
dope.
like how he flowed on that too.
Yeah, I forgot.
Like I was like,
That
damn,
was-
he should have had more of that. Like
that
in
was
the middle
cool.
somewhere. You know what I'm saying?
That was cool, but I'm just
was
saying,
cool.
but I'm just saying, but like, yeah, it's a cool track in between all of this mood swings, something special. What you know about love, Diana? Like,
You don't like something special?
no,
Hell no.
Man,
I know
that had that
sample.
Tamia sample.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it didn't work.
I like that shit.
It didn't work.
I like the
So,
sample.
I'm gonna listen to Myke and listen to his old mixtape because if it's anything like kind of similar to 44 Bulldog or Gangsters, then I think I like.
See, like that's something special. Like when I hear that beat, that's perfect for Prime 50. That's not
This is
really
50's
Pop
album.
Smoke.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
You're right. So I agree with everybody, but I was just like, I didn't know what kind of rapper Pop Smoke was. I remember when we were on the call and I brought it up. I was like, I don't know anything about this dude. I know nothing about his music, but we should go ahead and cover it because it might be interesting. Looking at him, I just figured he was like a Migos clone or something like that. So when I listened to this, I was just like, yeah, I'm not feeling this. But then something said, okay, well, how did this guy get so hot? So I went back and listened to the song Welcome to the Party. And I was like, holy shit, this is dope. Hard beat, and he's just, I mean, I'm not going to say he's like super lyrical,
Sometimes
whatever.
you don't have to be that.
But
Yeah.
he's just
He sounds
killing
good as
the
fuck.
beat. Like he sounds
Okay.
amazing. So I was like, okay, well, if he got hot off this, there's got to be more songs like this. So I went back and listened to the very first mixtape, Welcome to the Woo, or I think it's what it's called.
Welcome to the.
So that's dope. Okay.
Yeah, it's dope.
Because I
man.
saw he did a
It's-
freestyle. I don't know if it was like the LA Leakers thing or something. I was like, that was pretty dope. The way he was rhyming and shit.
Yeah.
But that's the only time I've like really heard of Pop Smoke until, of course, when he died. I never listened to any Pop Smoke mixtapes or albums. But
His first, if you listen to his
first
first mixtape, you definitely see how he got popular.
Okay.
Because he has
I'm
a
gonna check it
very
out.
unique sound. He sounds like if Big Lurch rapped faster. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, okay, and I already love Big Lurch. So I was like, okay, this is actually dope. And then if you listen to his second mixtape, you can see how he's on the trajectory to do something similar to this. I don't think he would have gone all the way this, but you can see he was definitely like getting a little bit more accessible because he has Quavo on the other one, and but then when you get to this one, you're like, all right, it looks like whoever was putting it together maybe after he passed just kind of went a little bit too far into the area of, okay, we're gonna make this super radio friendly.
It's kind of unfair to critique it because I don't know how much say he had in it prior to passing. I had never heard of Pop Smoke until he died. That was my first time hearing of this guy, and I listened to that freestyle 2B. I don't know where it was from, but I did listen to it because I thought he was another one of those trap drill rappers too, and I was like, oh, he actually rap. And I think that's a discussion that we've had on here is like, do you want to do this or do you do the accessible, easy to make stuff? And I think he kind of got, listening to what you were saying, it sounded like he was on that trajectory of trying to do the more accessible, catchy stuff. But when I'm listening to this, going to what you said, is like he can, it sounded like he could do both. And that's what I appealed from this. I was like, man, there really was a missed opportunity here for him as a rapper because he never got a chance to fulfill whatever his dream was. And it sounded like he had enough of a gift, the voice, a way of, whether it's working with people or his own, of making like catchy songs. And, it sounded like he could fit on both coasts. So that's what I got. Like, I don't know how many of these verses were incomplete verses that they just threw on here to make a song or whatnot. And I didn't go back like you and listen to his previous work. I should have, just to have a comparison from when he was alive to what we have posthumously. But But overall, I think it's just a missed opportunity. I think that's what I walked away with because he didn't get a chance to really fully develop as an artist.
Yeah, because he's only 20 years old.
And to be the head of a movement in New York that is completely foreign, it seems like, to New York. I thought it's really special. I mean, he was very unique in the way he was rapping.
Yeah.
Not so much on this in particular, but on those first 2 mixtapes, you can see like, oh, okay, yeah, there's definitely something.
Okay, I'm gonna check it
something
out.
to this guy.
I'm gonna check it out.
I don't know if his core fans agree or if they really like this. I have no idea.
I don't either. I haven't seen. No
I haven't
one
really watched. I mean, I haven't watched any reviews, of course, but I haven't
Yeah.
really seen any people talking about it on Twitter. At least not to me.
Yeah.
Even though I listened to the LA Leakers freestyle or whatever it was, I was like, oh, there's something there, but is this who he is, or was this just a one-time thing?
Yeah.
So I didn't think it was gonna be, I thought it was gonna be, whack. But
I did too.
nah, I don't think he is whack.
Just thinking about like all of the artists and how music is today, all of the features that we're not gonna get, including Pop Smoke, well, a lot of the artists that are out now, you know what I'm saying, that I think would have been like interesting collaborations because like you said, like he can make that tip drill, but drill music, and he could make like, you know what I'm saying, like hardcore like gangster shit too. So I think it would have been real interesting to see some of the features and artists he would have collabed with, in the future. But it's just sad, man. It's just overall sad,
Like they killed this guy for clout or something like that from what I was reading. It was just it was very senseless. And it didn't make any, I don't know, man. It was disappointing to see that.
Yeah.
That was the reason why, But nevertheless, I mean, there were songs that I liked on here that I thought were cool, but it very much felt unfinished to me. And I can't say that I'm an overall fan of this project because I understand that, it's just what they probably had left. It's like listening to, remember when Biggie and Tupac would put out the labels would put out those albums.
You can tell like shit was like, wait a minute, they just put that.
Yeah,
on
and as a fan, it's good to hear more of that stuff, but especially with Tupac, he got to a while like, nah, y'all need to stop.
Right.
y'all
Tupac's
killing
still
this.
dropping albums.
Right.
Y'all killing this. So as a fan of Pop Smoke, I'm sure they would appreciate, hearing him one more time.
You specifically said Tupac and Biggie, and how they died to like gun violence or whatever. I found it kind of weird listening to this album, knowing how he died and then the content of it. Was that weird for any of you guys to like how he, he's like, I got it on me, I'm waiting for you, stuff like that, like, and for him to die kind of like with somebody running up on him, and like I don't know, it just made the listening experience kind of weird for me. Did any of y'all experience that at all?
No,
I didn't.
But I know what you're talking about. I didn't have a thought about like hearing him say that and that coming back on him and dying that way. But just hearing him speak about just wanting to be around to do this sort of thing, and I wish I had the line. It was one of the songs, but I did think that like, man, you didn't get a chance to do what you were setting out to do, and it was just unfortunate. But I didn't think about like the content of what he said,
Like the irony of it.
Yeah,
Because it was very heavy on the content, that type of content, and then for him to die that way, I just thought that was just weird. Every time I heard something, like the song "Got It On Me," like you know what I'm saying, like waiting. He said waiting to 2-4s like Kobe, like. I mean, he had a lot of like gun references and gun bars and like just nigga, you run up on me, I'll shoot you type of thing. You know what I'm saying? So I just thought that was just, I don't know, it just made the listening experience weird for me personally. And I remember like back in the day, like when people used to say like Biggie ready to die, like how he was just like making music in the sense of like he's ready to die, life after death and all that type of stuff. So I don't know. It's just weird. It was a weird listening experience for me personally.
Only thing that was weird as far as listening experience for me was like the weird like love songs. Because I don't know who he was talking about, and I kind of wonder if some of those women are like, oh my god, this is fucking me up, Which those were actually the songs I cared for the least,
Right.
Because it just didn't come off natural. But no, I didn't really listen to it and hear the content and be like, oh, this is weird. I mean, unfortunately, it just felt like, one of those live by the gun, die by the gun type of things. And I don't know if he was really out in these streets with guns like that. I take his word for it because I don't know anything about him other than what I hear on mixtapes and the videos I've seen. So if that's what it was, then that's what it was. I mean, it sucks that we lost someone that was 20 years old that had a shit ton of potential to do something very, very interesting that maybe could have been the reincarnation of Prime 50 Cent, where you have that really gangster role, but you can also, I can talk to the chicks real quick too.
The 21 questions.
Yeah, I can pop that candy stick type shit on your ass real fast. But I don't know. This is definitely a weird listening experience. For some reason, it's funny you asked that. When I go back and listen to the first mixtape, that was a lot more of that content. It feels less weird. I don't know why, but putting that on, it just felt natural. It felt like I was really listening to this dude saying what he wanted to say, the way he wanted to say it, how he wanted to say it.
Because it was authentic, right?
It felt really authentic.
Yeah.
It felt so different.
Right.
From what, because when you were saying you didn't know where he was from, I didn't either. I assumed he was from Texas.
Yeah.
Because like I said, the first thing I thought of was like, this dude sounds like Big Lurch. I was like, all right, I've never heard anyone try to replicate that Big Lurch sound. And then I thought, is he tweaking his voice? Because I've seen him. And he doesn't look like that voice would come out of
No,
my
he
body.
look like
at
Amigo
all.
or something. He looked like he come out of the Migos or something.
Yeah, he's a thinner guy, braids, whatever. And I was like, okay.
He don't look no 19 either. That motherfucker
Nah,
look
he
old
like
as
he's been
shit.
through some shit. And maybe that's why that stuff sounded authentic. Because maybe he really was talking that street shit because he was living that street shit. Either way,
I take that back with the Migos because Takeoff got a pretty deep voice.
not like him. This dude, like, I swear when I first listened to it, I thought it was an auto-tune type of dealie where they pitch shifted his voice.
Yeah.
I did too, and
But I
I
don't
also
think
thought
they
he was
did.
old as fuck.
Yeah.
He
I knew he was
sounds
20,
older.
but-
You know what I'm saying? Like almost like a Dave East. Like you hear Dave East, you think older New York cat. You know what I'm saying? And I don't mean like 40. Late 20s, early 30s.
Yeah.
He like this motherfucker sound old as hell. Like he's 19, 20.
That's
You know what I'm
crazy.
saying? So that's crazy. But I feel like you too, though, in terms of like live by the gun, die by the gun. It didn't make me feel weird, Rod. Like listening to, because again, like I think there's always, at least I would like a certain level of authenticity in music. And if you're talking about that, I assume that is part of your lifestyle. So even though that's how he got, like it didn't make me feel weird about it, because it's he's rapping his truth. So favorite tracks for me, give me 44 Bulldog, give me Gangsters, I fuck with the Woo because I feel like it's
his moniker, like his. I was about to say moniker, but I don't think that's right.
Well,
it is.
yeah,
right?
yeah, you can use it like that.
Yeah.
But I just felt like it was like a very accessible, like that's gonna be on the radio. I could see it being a super big hit. I wasn't like taken aback by it, and then Got It On Me.
Give me Aim for the Moon, 44 Bulldog, Gangsters, Snitching, and Got It On Me.
Gangsters, Got It On Me, For the Night, and Diana, and I'll do something special.
Favorite tracks, I'm gonna go for 44 Bulldog, Gangsters. I'm gonna go for The Night. One of the babies killed it. I don't know which one of them it was.
I think it was
Whichever was
It was
that's no
Dub.
disrespect. I don't know the difference
No,
between the two.
Little Baby was the first
I
one on
don't.
there. Little Baby was hard
the
as
last
fuck.
one.
The
Nope,
last one?
It was
So
the last
Baby?
baby.
So
Duh.
the
That was
Baby.
the baby.
Not the, but duh.
Duh.
DA.
The baby.
Yeah, you've always liked Dub Baby
Yeah.
more than Lil Baby.
And I always forget the second I walk out here. So
Yeah,
no, it's
yeah.
not disrespect to either one of them. I get them mixed up. But yeah, the baby. I liked his verse a lot. And I'm gonna go Got It On Me.
First and foremost, I just want to say rest in peace, Pop Smoke, and my prayers go out to all of your friends and family. Anybody that really knew him like that, man. Like I feel for you. In terms of Pop Smoke, man, final thoughts. Like I said during the review, I think you have one of the most unique voices in hip hop, and I think that if you had more time on this earth, that you would have came out with a whole bunch of hard fucking just bangers. You know what I'm saying? I think that we're gonna miss that in hip hop.
My final thoughts. I just took a look at the first mixtape, and it was only 28 minutes, man. And I wish I would have listed that for further context to evaluate Pop Smoke as an artist, as well as his overall skills and ability when he was alive. And it's unfortunate, and I missed out on this whole movement. And one of the things that it said in the write-up on Apple Music was that it was the 2019 street anthem, and I'd never heard of it nor seen it. So, like I said in the review, the first time hearing about Pop Smoke was unfortunately when he passed. And it would have been interesting to see where he went from here based on what he was doing while he was alive. So it's the unfortunate part of the world that we live in, man, and we are losing a lot of young guys out here, man. Just everybody, man, just be careful on your grind, man. When you come up, man, it's just respect each other and try not to do crazy stuff. So, because we lost what could have been a blossoming talent in the game that could have contributed in another different, unique way, and that's unfortunate.
Yeah. Final thoughts. Even though I'm not really a huge fan of this particular project, I hear the potential. I hear the talent in this guy. He's definitely not a whack rapper. He's definitely a rapper that kind of gets my attention when he raps, just off of his voice, his unique sound. Like I said, it was just because of the fluffy production and everything. It kind of threw me off. But I am now that Myke C-Town brought up his first mixtape. I'm definitely gonna go check that one out. I'm gonna check out the Woo 1 and 2. Check both of those out.
Rest in peace, Pop Smoke. Doesn't matter whether or not I'm a fan of this album. I understand why it was necessary to release. And yeah, I mean, just from a personal standpoint, I have those first mixtapes that I actually really enjoy to go back to. But people that like all three of these projects, it's all the better for them. So I'm glad it was released. And it's just a shame that we lost somebody that had a very unique voice, that was on a very interesting trajectory. And it's kind of also sad because if Pop Smoke had not passed, I don't know if I would have ever even known anything about him, because I didn't while he was alive. So fucking sucks for me because I missed out on a movement. And yeah.